Okay, thank you. Now I noticed the bell. I'm not sure what the bell is, but I heard it. I heard it going off, on and off, all through the presentation. So I think I know my timing, so I think I'll be okay. Now I know that when you come to conferences, you get asked lots of questions, and this is for my section. This is not a presentation; it's a workshop. So I will ask you to sort of participate, not just for me, but also for you, and we can sort of gauge in regard to robotic process automation, where we are. Like, where is the industry? You all represent your companies. And, in my own experience, my own technology experience, I started in telecommunications. And we didn't know in those days how big that would be in our lives. And I started then in mobile, and obviously it became a very big area in our lives, analog mobile, then digital. And then moved into SMS. So no one really would have knew that SMS would be so ubiquitous, okay? And I think in some ways automation is something like this as well. It's another wave. Except I think it's even bigger. It's the biggest sort of technology shift that I can see in the future, in the near future. And many companies have already started this journey, and we are helping many companies. And so this workshop is a mix of talking about our capability as Kryon, hearing from our customers, as well as asking you questions and asking where you are at in your RPA journey. Okay, so I just want to level set here. I know this is an AI conference, but it's surprising that even when I talk to senior executives, they are not so familiar with this space, robotics. And when we talk about robotics, RPA, they think of physical robots, right? So we're talking now about software robots. So okay, this is a physical robot. RPA is software robots. And as you can see here, this is not RPA, okay? Now, okay, so the challenges and why is there a need for RPA? So you can see here, there's manual processes, and many companies have got an experience now where they're in competition, right? Very, very heavy competition. Not just from their own normal competitors, but new startups, companies that can come in and disrupt very, very quickly. And it's not, and it's every industry. It's not isolated. And regulatory pressure, compliance. We all know banking. If you don't comply with regulators' regulations, then there's massive consequences. And one of the things here with automation, it's very accurate, okay, because it's a robot doing the work. Back office inefficiencies. So typically the journey for most enterprises is to start with back office, because these processes are they are high volume, they're repetitive, and it's an easy place to start. And typically it's finance. Finance is an obvious one where many companies are starting. And it's not just an RPA automation applies to many industries, okay? So it's not just banking, it can be healthcare, can be logistics, can be any industry that you name. And so legacy. So when we talk about automation, it does apply to any system. So the way that we approach automation is looking at the screens, if you like. So our IP is around computer vision. And so when we see the screen, that means that we can understand what is on the screen. For example, the objects, the fields, the buttons, things like this, and text, for example, and then understand what that is in any application. So it doesn't matter if it's ERP, CRM, or any other, we can read the screen and understand what the applications are. So you could think about, if you think of enterprise applications in your environment, it's an overlay of that. So the automation is on top, okay? So it doesn't matter what application is underneath. Even green screen and mainframe and all types of systems. Okay, so RPA applies to all of these. The different types of robots, if you're not familiar, is, first of all, there's attended. And Kryon's been around for about 10 years, and we're coming from the attended robot space. It means the robot is on your desktop. Okay, so it's installed, if you're on Windows, for example, it's, okay. So it's on the desktop, and it's helping a user, okay? And it used to be called robotic desktop automation, RDA, and that's where we started 10 years ago, having no idea that automation would have such sort of a big wave coming. Now, then unattended. So you've got your desktop robot, okay, and then you've got in the network an unattended robot. So the unattended robot is operating 24/7, okay, and it's basically that's your capacity, if you like, of your network robotic ability, right, to serve processes. And then the attended is working with us as a user. And the combination of these two working together is called hybrid. Okay, so, and this is what I believe is the future, is that all of us will be working, we'll have a robot on a desktop, we'll have a network robot in the background, and I'll show you how this works in a moment, and this is how we'll interact. So basically we'll hand off functions and tasks to the robot in the background, and then you can get on with your work. Okay, so this is one of our customers, Allianz in Thailand, and this is we're showing you this video because it's a real example of an enterprise adopting automation and also helping their own employees understand automation. So I'll play this, and any questions you can ask as we go on. And like I said, there is some surveys, and we'll ask questions. So please raise your hand at the right time. Thank you.
สวัสดีค่ะทุกคนชื่อเจนะคะวันนี้ค่ะเราจะพาทุกคนมาตามติดชีวิต1วันการทำงานของเจกันค่ะมาดูกันนะคะว่ามันจะเป็นยังไงบ้างเจก็ทำงานอยู่ที่แผนกการเงินนะคะในส่วนของ Treasury and Cash Management นะคะหน้าที่หลักๆของเจเนี่ยก็จะเป็นในส่วนของการรับชำระเบี้ยประกันผ่านการหักบัตรเครดิตอัตโนมัติและผ่านทางการหักบัญชีอัตโนมัติค่ะช่วงบ่ายนี้เราก็ยังมีงานที่ยังคงต้องทำต่อนะคะนั่นก็คือในส่วนของการโพสติ้งแล้วก็ edit ข้อมูลในระบบ Opus ของเรานั่นเองค่ะตอนนี้ก็งานเสร็จเรียบร้อยหมดทุกอย่างแล้วนะคะเวลาก็ประมาณ 5 โมงกว่าๆพอดีเลยเดี๋ยวเราจะได้กลับบ้านกันสรุปภาพรวมโปรเซสการทำงานของเจนะคะก็จะเป็นอะไรที่ทำซ้ำๆแล้วก็ค่อนข้างที่จะเหมือนกันในทุกๆวันประมาณนี้ล่ะค่ะวันนี้นะคะก็ต้องขอตัวกลับบ้านไปก่อนนะคะบ๊ายบายพี่ลีเรียกเจมีอะไรหรือเปล่าคะ
พี่มีข่าวดีมาบอกพี่มีเทคโนโลยีใหม่ๆมาแนะนำให้เจซึ่งมันจะช่วยให้เจเนี่ยทำงานได้ง่ายขึ้นเจสนใจไหม
แล้วมันเป็นแบบไหนล่ะคะ
มันเรียกว่าโรบอติกจ้ะมันก็คือ tool ตัวหนึ่งที่จะช่วย process งานของเจเนี่ยให้มันออโตเมตมากขึ้นเพราะฉะนั้นเจก็จะสามารถทำงานได้ง่ายและสะดวกรวดเร็วมากขึ้น
โรบอติก
เฮ้ยมันไม่ใช่อย่างนั้นเจมันไม่ใช่หุ่นยนต์แบบนั้น
อ้าวแล้วมันเป็นแบบไหนล่ะคะ
มันเป็นแบบนี้จ้ะ
สวัสดีค่ะวันนี้นะคะก็หลังจากที่พี่ลีนะคะจะเอาโรบอทมาช่วยเจทำงานนะเดี๋ยวเราไปดูกันนะคะว่าวันนี้เจจะทำงานได้ง่ายขึ้นแค่ไหนไปกันเลยตอนนี้นะคะเจก็มี2หน้าจอนะคะก็คือหน้าจอหนึ่งเนี่ยจะเอาไว้ดูการทำงานของโรบอทนะคะแล้วก็อีกหน้าจอหนึ่งเนี่ยจะเอาไว้เป็นการทำงานปกติของเจค่ะนี่เลยค่ะก็สำหรับขั้นตอนการ generate ไฟล์ที่เจจะต้องมาทำเองทุกเช้านะคะตอนนี้ก็จะกลายเป็นว่าโรบอทเนี่ยจะมาทำแทนให้เพราะฉะนั้นเนี่ยเจก็จะมีหน้าที่แค่นำส่งไฟล์ให้กับแบงค์ผ่านทางเว็บไซต์แล้วก็รับไฟล์กลับมานะคะส่วนขั้นตอนที่เป็นการอัปโหลด validate post edit อะไรต่างๆที่เจต้องทำเองเนี่ยก็โรบอททำให้ทั้งหมดเลยเรียกได้ว่าลดงานเจในส่วนนี้ไปได้เยอะมากๆเลยนะคะเย้ก็ถือว่าเป็นเรื่องราวดีๆนะคะแล้วก็ทำให้ชีวิตการทำงานของเจเนี่ยดีขึ้นด้วยนะคะต้องขอบคุณโรบอทมากๆเลยนะคะขอบคุณค่ะบ๊ายบาย
Yes, I mean I know it's a fun sort of video, but you can see that they've taken the time to sort of work with their employees, and explain automation and bring them into the picture. Because many people have different misconceptions about what automation is. And I think they've just done a great job. Now, over to you. So where are you in your RPA journey? So Are you looking to get started? So we'll just do a raise of hands quickly, please. So if you're just getting to start, you haven't done any RPA, just starting. Right, okay, so it's an AI, oh, okay, a few. Okay, so AIA Summit, I thought it might be a few. 1 to 10 processes in production. Okay, and then 10 to 50. Okay, and above 50? So I think some people didn't raise their hands, okay. But look, the thing is, I'll just explain from my experience. So I manage the region here for Asia Pacific, and it's usually a mix, right? And it does depend on industry. My own experience says that banking and finance is leading. They are the highest adopters of automation so far. Probably telecommunications after that is probably second. They're doing a lot of work as well. You can see now contact centers with the attended, helping CSRs, for example. This is another, it's also an industry, I say, contact center. So these are some of the common ones, and it's a whole mix. And where we really come in is like we can cover all of these journeys. The thing is, if you're getting started, then it's best to plan. Do your planning. If you haven't started, please do research, start planning, because you'll see why shortly. But where we often find bigger corporations that have started the RPA journey, that they haven't scaled. So they've got to 50 and that's it. Now there's many, many more processes, much more to do for enterprises than just 50. 50 is not very many. I mean, most of you may have thousands of processes. So when you think of that context, it's not very many at all. Okay, so hybrid automation. So I talked about that vision. So we'll see how it works. Because I know for many this is abstract as well. The concept of automation and hybrid and attended and unattended, what does it mean? So we'll actually see this in action now. Okay, so this is a use case. Now this is also relatively simple one, and it's using a few applications here. You can see Salesforce, you can see LinkedIn, and basically and Twitter is another one. And it's going through here, instead of a person going out and getting this information, it's the robot going to do it for us, okay? So I'll just let you have a look at that. And then we'll go into a video. So you can see here, yeah. So basically, what it's highlighting here is that as the robot remember the unattended, the network robot is doing its work, that the employee can keep working. That's the whole point. Yeah? So you don't have to stop work. Okay, so now this is the one. Right, okay. So this is the server console. What this is doing is managing the robots, okay? That network robot. So this is on your desktop now. You can see the task queue. So at the top, your top right there is the unattended robot. Okay, so watch that one. That's the one that's going to be working in the background. Okay, and we've got the console, which is the next window down, and then we have the queue. Okay, so that's monitoring what the robots are doing. Okay, and in this case, a contact is going to be created, and then that's when the handoff will be done. Okay, so we've created a contact, and then we'll add, remember we're adding the information from Twitter and LinkedIn into the profile. Now, ordinarily, and this one included, watching automation is not that much fun, you know, so I'll try and talk a little bit, but I'll just let you watch it as well. If you've seen this for the first time, this is what automation is, okay? This is how it works. So if you're not familiar, you can go away at least from today and understand, oh yeah, okay, so this is an unattended robot, this is an attended robot, this is how they work, this is a business process that's been achieved through robotics. So the unattended robot will finish its work, the console will be updated, and then that will update the queue. And that's when you can see as a user, when we see the bottom right-hand side, when the queue's updated, then we know it's done. Then it'll give us an advice to refresh. Okay, so we have to refresh the screen to show the update that the robot has made. Okay. Yes, so for some customers, we have to do processes that are an hour, even an automated long, and we've got to go through all this. So you're only getting a few minutes. So you can see the task now is done. So the user knows, and you get the advice. Okay, we'll go and check the contact. And you can see down there the social media score, yeah. So it's both profiles have been updated from LinkedIn and Twitter. Very simple one. However, this is people have to do it, right? It's a very simple process, but this is in people's roles. It's not really a value add, right? You're not using creativity. It's laborious. It's repetitive, and it's the same one again and again. And that's what you're looking for RPA. Okay, so the barriers to scaling RPA. So this is a research from Deloitte, and you can see process fragmentation at the top. And typically, organizations don't know their processes. I don't think there's any large MNC on earth that has a full picture of their processes. So process fragmentation is a big issue. So how do you find the processes to be automated? You can see here, we can read down the list, the vision, IT readiness, meaning they understand even this domain, and implementation skills and costs, and resistance to change. Now, resistance to change is number 5 here. I think it's my own experience is much higher. You know, there is a lot of resistance, and some people are nodding as well because it really is true. And just going back to Allianz, Thailand, very good way, right, to sort of engage. Many companies don't take the time to do this sort of thing. You're working with your employees and getting them to understand automation. And the thing is, I just want to make a point about this as well, that the best companies that I've talked to are, their approach to change is slowing down hiring. Okay, so they've got, you've got a LinkedIn and other portals, you've got jobs advertised, they slow that down. With HR, working with HR, slow that down. Okay, because the impact of automation will be that it does free up people's time, right? So it means that you can, for example, a typical use case is cost reduction. Yeah, so they want to reduce costs, FTE, reduce as many as possible. But the thing is, the smartest companies, what they're doing is redeploying those staff that are already in their organization. And what that means is they can then go to high-level tasks. The automation is doing its job on the lower-level, laborious processes, and that company then can be much more efficient, much more productive. So you can see that's a much more elegant way of managing this whole process. So if you see in the news, if you see announcement of 5,000 roles cut, 10,000, 50,000, whatever it is, that company has just not managed this process, right? Usually they have no idea of how even to manage that either. Who is going to do the work of that 10,000? How is that company going to keep being as productive? It just makes no sense. So I'll leave that with you, but it's just also my experience, and I just think it's a very nice way to manage this change. So yeah, I'd like you to take that back, because I think it's just good for all of us. Okay, so I mentioned that, which processes to automate. So this is now, so we'll just go through, okay, so discovery is the first thing. So how is discovery done today? It's done by usually a consultant, an analyst, right, from the big guy, all the players that are out there that are consultants. They come in and they sit over the shoulder of a user and they map the process, okay, step by step. This is the old way, okay? This is not digital. This has been around for, I don't know, hundreds of years, but a long time. And the problem with that is that, first of all, it's a manual process. The other thing is, by the time you've mapped the process, it can change, right? And then you've got a document, you've got the paper, and it's just not an efficient way to be mapping the processes and discovering them, okay? And I'll show you how we do it shortly. Then the next step is decide on the processes to be automated. Okay, so here you're looking at ROI. For example, the 4 V's here: variation, velocity, variety, and volume. You're looking at these components to determine whether the process is worth automating. Now the rule of 5 is here, so it's basically you're looking at 5 decisions in the process, okay? No more than 5 applications, and the 5 also relates to 500 clicks. So if you just remember that from here as well, so that rule of 5 means if you can fit that criteria, probably it's a good process to automate. Okay, and then we do that. Yeah, so, and like I mentioned, we're using computer vision, and it's any application, and we use a variety of robots. I'll let you take a photo. Okay. Now, what we find is the work and effort it takes to automate is at the front of the cycle. Okay, so remember I talked about the consultants coming in? That'll cost money, okay, and it takes time. And if you think about a process to be automated, a lot of the effort and cost is at the beginning. So this is a problem that we're really addressing here as well as Kryon. We don't only do the automation, but we do the discovery of the process. And that's what I'm going to show you now. So again, what we talked about is abstract. What is process discovery? So here, you can visualize it.
Every day, in every enterprise, employees carry out unlimited processes that could be better executed by a virtual workforce in a fraction of the time. The challenge today is identifying all these processes with minimal effort. Kryon's Process Discovery delivers an AI-powered solution to meet this challenge. Discovery robots monitor every interaction employees have with their applications and continuously send this data to the Discovery engine to analyze and map every business process. Findings are displayed in real time on the Kryon console, which proposes automation recommendations prioritized by ROI and business results. You can readily see process volume, number of users and steps, variance, average time, and process frequency. Results can be further filtered by date, department, user, application, and more. Once a process is selected for automation, its workflow is immediately shown. By clicking any step of the process, you can see a quick view of the user action and can drill down even further for more information. This workflow covers only 53% of the total actions that were taken by users. Selecting from the list below, you can readily add more variants to see all the different ways in which people execute their tasks and expand the coverage for automation up to 100% of the mapped process. You will also see the amount of time that can be saved by automation. Now, all you need to do is to click Automate, and Kryon Process Discovery turns recommendations into automation. The system immediately generates the automated workflow within the Kryon Studio, leaving you only fine-tuning before assigning to your virtual team. Kryon Process Discovery changes the way enterprises do RPA by reducing overhead, design, and development costs while letting Kryon's revolutionary AI engine automate with almost zero human intervention and faster than ever imagined. Realize the full potential of your company by taking RPA to the next generation. Process Discovery by Kryon.
Okay, so what we saw was the business process being mapped. You saw the flow, the business process flow. Then it went through and it was optimized. We chose the process. And then we went into automation. So that's the difference between what Kryon's approach is and others. Okay, so we're taking the full end-to-end, where we've got automated process discovery, then going through right through the deployment of the automation. And so that's business process discovery. Okay, so you can see it's a very different approach to the consultant and the documents and the manual process. Okay, so some of our customers saying 5 times, faster to discover processes, and actually, if you look in big organizations, I think it can be even more than that. And I'll let you read this, but basically, there's lots of benefits in doing it this way. And the thing is, in AI, as we know, it's just getting algorithms are getting more mature and sophisticated, together with computing power, and this combination is making our algorithm more mature. So, for example, in the last 12 months, it's dramatic, the difference of the quality of the discovery of the processes. So, and that's just getting better and better each time, because again, with machine learning, the more data you have, obviously the more it improves, the engine improves. So, this is what we are finding as well. And we've moved into, like, for example, multi-tenancy, so we can go into an enterprise, look at not only one department, now we can look at all departments, for example, at the same time. And you could, for example, talk to CEO about having a complete view of their processes. Like I mentioned, I don't think any enterprise today does have, but this is something that we could achieve. Now, have we done that yet? It's still at the beginning of the cycle. The journey is, just beginning. Multi-tenancy is just also something that we've just released. So it's, it's just the beginning. But you can see that this is now a view that COO and others can have of their organization. Okay, so this is an example from Wyndham. This is a use case. So this is one of the biggest hotel chains in the US. They're a great company. There's a testimonial here from their COO. And he's looking at not only process discovery, but also the RPA, the automation side. Yeah, so their challenge here to expand. Okay, so they already had some start in robotics, and then they wanted to expand further, and they partnered with Kryon to do that. This is this is an example of some of the benefits they got from working with us, and you can see. This is also so this is a snapshot in time at the beginning of the cycle. They're a long-term partner of ours as well. They've spent, they've made significant investments with us in our technology, and they're just getting a lot of benefits. Now, and like I said, with the workers and those that have been impacted by this project, then obviously it's best to, like I said, best practice, I believe, is to redeploy, right? Make your company even better. And not just focus on cost reduction, also on revenue generation.
Most people know Wyndham as a single luxury hotel brand. We're actually comprised of over 20 brands with 9,300 hotels worldwide. We recently went through a major digital transformation. This meant that we needed to establish 5 new platforms across our enterprise. We leverage Kryon RPAs to help us onboard our hotels. When there's a new hotel that joins our distribution network, we need to set them up with digital assets. This can be a very manually intensive process, and we leverage Kryon RPAs to help automate and facilitate this process. We also use Kryon RPA solutions to improve our overall guest experience. For example, if you're checking into one of our hotels and the front desk clerk isn't sure really how to find your reservation or to process your credit card, Kryon's attended bot solution provides suggestions and facilitates training for them at the front desk level. One of the great things about the Kryon RPA solution is not only has it allowed us to reduce costs, it's also made our employees' jobs more fun. The robot sits out there and automates a lot of the drudgery, and this allows our employees to focus on more of the cool stuff. Finally, we've been able to leverage the Kryon solution to actually increase revenue across the enterprise. And I believe this is an area where other people should really be looking at. One of the great things about process discovery is it helped us map our processes for onboarding a hotel. By understanding that overall process and getting it documented, we were able to reduce our total onboarding time by over 65%. Now multiply that by 900 hotels and you have a real cost savings. We chose Kryon because we were looking for not just a vendor, but a partner. And Kryon understood what we were trying to deliver. Kryon was focused on a business outcome and wanted to collaborate with us as opposed to being focused on cost or licensing structure or the technology itself.
Okay, so the next one is, and I wish all customers were like that, very comprehensive benefits and willing, so passionate about what the project achieved, was willing to go on video and talk about what happened. So another example here is in banking, and I mentioned they're sort of leading, I would say, as an industry, is Bank Leumi in Israel, and our R&D for Kryon is in Israel, and they one of the things that happened, and I'll let there's a bit of text there, but one of the things that is interesting about this use case is the regulation changed in Israel for banking, or to banks. And basically what it means is, if you went for a credit check in some countries, that could, for example, if you were unsuccessful with your credit check, you applied for a loan, for example, and you weren't successful, it would affect your credit rating. Okay, and so people were very conservative about actually applying for loans and things like that. In Israel, they changed the regulation to it would have no consequence. So it wouldn't impact, you could go for any loan to any bank, any organization, and it wouldn't impact your credit rating. So what happened to the banks? Everyone then started to, apply because they knew it wouldn't have an impact, and they could then test the market. Okay, so the impact on the bank was large because many people are hitting them for new loans, new applications, things like this, and so they needed a way to manage it. And so they used Kryon in this case to manage that inflow of new customers, new requests, and things like that. And again, it fits the criteria. It's the same process, high volume, so it fits the criteria that we need for process automation. And this is a testimonial.
Bank Leumi is Israel's senior banking corporation and one of the leading and largest corporations in the Middle East. Leumi currently leads the digital banking sector in Israel with a host of innovative digital products and services. Our biggest challenge is to create a new banking model in which, from one hand, we put emphasis on improving customer services, and on the other hand, creating a more flexible and agile platform that will help us to stay the leading digital bank in Israel, implementing the newest fintech technologies. This is why Leumi has lately launched a new operating division, and this is where Kryon robots are coming to our help. We have located a few dozens of back-office processes that can be automated by robots, which will surely help us to give much better SLAs to our customers, more accuracy, gaining FTE, and above all, free our bankers to give the customers a more personal service. So far, we have implemented in production around 10 Kryon RPA business processes, and they are a big success. This is done, of course, while a human is working 8 till 9 hours per day, and a robot can potentially work for almost 24 hours. In the mortgage request process, each robot is handling around 80 till 100 requests a day, while a human is doing around 40. In the ATM complaints handling, we improved the average time of handling our justified complaints with 35%. In the closing current accounts process, we saw that a few parts of the business processes are done manually, using side sheets or even a paper and a pen, and so we automated them. We are now in the midst of creating our COE, which will help us to keep growing up to the next level and expanding the use of the robots in more back-office processes. Moving ahead, we really look forward to the Kryon RPA process discovery product. We expect it will help us scan and find less obvious processes for RPA, and of course, implementing more robotic processes in other divisions in the bank.
Okay, so just on that one, we saw as a bank experience, and again, you can see 250% productivity improvement, things like this. It's just not uncommon. We really see these types of benefits in the market, like I said, multi-industry. So here's again a question. And I think there was many companies that have started the RPA journey, not many that hadn't. So here you can see the goal, right? So what was the goal for RPA for your company? Was it, so for raise of hands, was it seamless CX? So CX is customer experience. Not customer experience, okay. Cost savings. Okay. Reduce risk compliance. Service level efficiency. Okay. And competition. Meaning your competition was doing it. Okay, because they're all doing it. Right. So the top one there was cost savings, and then it was service level efficiency. So that was the most hands of these two with cost savings. So it was pretty even, actually. No, cost saving was ahead, actually. It was a little bit higher. And when I talk to different customers, usually it's cost saving. Cost saving is typically number one. They want to reduce costs first. And actually our job is to talk about more different use cases than just FTE, and not just talk about cost savings. This domain is, like I said, we're just at the beginning of the wave, and we've got a lot more space to go yet. So if you're just focused on FTE, I think it's my own personal view is it's a shallow view, right, of the potential of what can be provided by automation. Okay, so this is a little bit about Kryon. I mentioned there were 10 years now, just a little bit over, and we're a small MNC. We've got about 150 people globally. We're growing fast, and we want to make a big impact on the market, and we are doing it. You know, so we're aligned with a lot of the top consultancies, a lot of the global SIs, many of those based in India, but also Accenture and others. McKinsey, for example. And you can see here some of our customers. So basically there's a mix, you know, it's not just one, it's many industries, and that's what we're finding. Okay, and you can see that our mix of technologies as well, it's not just the robots that we talked about, attended, unattended, and the hybrid, but also the process discovery. So that's what's really making us unique. Oh. We talked about this one already. Okay, thanks very much. I didn't hear many bells. Very good, thank you.